This is a tutorial for the InDesign Assessment Part 2, which is the portfolio booklet. So just talking through opening up that file and a couple little extra bits of information for you. So we're in the Moodle under the Assessments tab. Scroll down to there's the InDesign section, and then Part 2 Portfolio Booklet. There's a template file here for you. So download that. You'll notice the file ends in INDT. That's an InDesign template file. So double click that to open up. And we've got our template. So I've set this one up for you with 8 pages. You'll see in the pages panel here. 1 to 8, so 3 spreads, the front cover and the back cover. The main thing about template files, or the main difference between a template file and an InDesign file, or regular InDesign file, is when you open it up, see how it's opened Untitled 1? Like that's the name of the file now, whereas this was the name of the template file. That's just so when you open up a template file, you can't accidentally save over it. So it opens up Untitled 1. So if I go into save, it'll prompt you to save it somewhere. So that was our original file. That means you can't accidentally save over a template, which is pretty handy. But really also that is the only difference between an InDesign file and an InDesign template file, is that it just opens as like an unsaved file. So yes, go ahead and save this. I'm going to call it the same as the template file, and then pop your name on the end. Also take out the word template. As soon as you update a template, it isn't a template anymore. If you're adding things or filling in information in a template file, it's not a template now. You filled it out. So call it something accordingly. Don't call it template. So I've just put my name on the end, and you should also put your name in your file. So save. You'll also notice this is a square page. So let's check out the document setup. Let's go to File, Document Setup. And you can see here it's got 8 pages in the file. We've got facing pages so we could have our spreads. If you don't have facing pages, I'll just show you what that looks like. See how in the Pages panel they go into single pages? So that's page 2. I'm just double clicking on here, page 3. So there aren't pages sitting next to each other in a spread. So if you're wanting to set up a document in single pages, that's how you would do that. It's going to undo that. So that's in facing pages again now. I just hit Command Z to undo it. I should note that, but just because the InDesign file is in spreads, when you save a PDF, you can still save that as single pages. You don't have to save the PDF as spreads just because the InDesign file has facing pages. And for a booklet print, you need to save it as single pages for a final file. If you send it to a printer, they'll want it in single pages, not spreads. Okay, let's go back into document setup. And then the size of the page is 200 by 200 millimeters. The margins are 15 mil, and I've put 3 mil bleed on this document. So if you have any color or images going to the edge of the page, make sure you're bringing them out to the bleed line. That's the red line here. So your printer will be happy with you. If you'd like to change the margins, go ahead. It needs to be 8 pages, or if you need to add, or you wanted to add a couple of pages, you need to add 4. Because it's a saddle stitch booklet, it prints in lots of 4. So you can't have a 10-page saddle stitch booklet because you'll end up with a blank sheet at the end. So we're sticking with 8 pages. That'll be enough for this assessment. But for whatever reason, if you wanted to add extra pages, it has to go up to 12. Okay, or 16, or 20, or 24, or 48. 48 is too much. Don't do that. But just as an example, if you're designing a saddle stitch booklet, it has to be divisible by 4. So we've got 8 pages, which would, if you're printing it, would be 2 A3 sheets, double-sided. So each A3 sheet has 4 of these pages. It's okay if that confuse you. You're like, what is she talking about? It's easier to show in person with bits of paper and folding them up, but just trust me, division by 4, you're good to go. Let's go, okay. Another thing you could adjust is going to layout and then margins and columns. This also shows you the margin settings here, and you can change the columns here. So we've got one column. You can see there's no, it's not split, which means it's got one column. If you wanted to change the size of your margins, you can see that's just gotten smaller here. If you want to unlink these and just change the top or bottom separately, or left and right as well, you'll notice in facing pages it says inside outside. It doesn't say left and right, and that's because in your spread, drag this over, in your spread, like the right hand page of page 2 and the left hand page of page 3 are the inside, and then the left side of page 2 and the right side of page 3 is the outside. Inside, outside. So like the spine and then like the edge instead of left and right. When you don't have facing pages, this says left, right. Okay, so yes, you can adjust the margins however you would like. You can add columns if you wanted to. So you can see here, that's just added a column. You can add 2, you can adjust your gutter. Whatever you'd like to do here. The main thing, you can't change the page size, or if you're going to add pages, yes, add 4 more pages. They're the restrictions. But in terms of things that will affect the design, like the margins and the columns, you can do whatever you'd like with that. So the 3 spreads, oh, actually, just stuff from the beginning. So page 1 will be your front cover. On your front cover, you can put whatever you'd like. Maybe you'd like to put the title of the course, or my amazing graphic design skills or something. It's really up to you, whatever you'd like to put on the back cover. And similarly, it's really up to you what you want to put on your back cover. So you might want to put something on the bottom here that has like your email address, or this publication has been created by the amazing blah, 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 or something. If you have like a little graphic that you tend to use for yourself, like a logo or a little nickname or something, you could pop that on the back or on the front even. Or you could just make it a plain color. If you don't have anything particular to put on the back cover, you could just draw a shape and fill it in with a color or something. Do something though on the back cover. Don't leave it completely blank because it'll look like a mistake. Okay, and then so page 1 front cover, page 2 and 3 will be that's your first spread. So in general, this is the way I'm generally laying it up, but you could shift it around if you wanted. The first spread will be for your Illustrator work. So in the course, when you did Illustrator exercises and assessments, you could pop some of that work in on this spread. Then the second spread, when I double click these, they look the same because there's no difference. But just so you know. So 4 and 5 will be your Photoshop work. So anything that you completed in the Photoshop section of the course. And then 6 and 7 will be your InDesign work. So that was just a nice way to split them up. Illustrator, Photoshop, InDesign, and whatever work that you completed in the course that you'd like to include. You don't have to put in everything. In fact, I probably wouldn't put in, if you want to make it really busy, you could put in everything. It's up to you, however you want to lay it out. And then if you want to add captions explaining what each thing is, or what skills you learnt to create it, or what tools you use to create the piece, or any kind of information, or you can have no information if you didn't want to say anything, just let the artwork speak for itself. Then that's fine too. But yeah, definitely pop in some of your beautiful work that you've created through the course to create this portfolio. That's the whole point of this booklet, is to show off your work, which is outlined in the assessment. So if you want to double check the brief in the assessment file, have a look there. It'll outline what the point of this is. Okay, but today I mostly just want to talk parent pages. So in the top section of the pages panel here, you'll see a parent. Just a general note, these used to be called master pages, and I think in general are called master pages. Like in other programs, they'll be called master pages. InDesign has recently changed it to parent pages. I'm not exactly sure why. I don't know if it's like a politically correct thing. I don't know, but they've changed it to parent. So if I accidentally say master page, please know it's the same thing. Or if you want to look up some more information or some extra tutorials or things, you could Google master pages InDesign, and that would still come up. Or parent pages. I mean, obviously that would work as well. But it used to be called master pages. So to access this sort of pages, I'm going to double click, and now I'm on my parent page. When you're working in your document, be really mindful of what page you're on. Okay, so you can see the blue highlighted part indicates that's the page I'm on. If I double click page 5, now I'm on page 5. If I double click up in the master page, now I'm in the master page. Sorry, parent page. It's the parent page. Because what will happen, or what master pages are used for, parent pages, I'm gonna, like, can everyone make a drinking game out of this? Or like, should I put $1 in a jar or something? So when you put an object on a parent page, so for example, I'll just draw a big fat rectangle here. Let's make it a color so you can see it. Turn that ugly stroke off. And I'll put a pink box over here. So you'll notice I've just put that on the parent pages, left and right. And then throughout my document, it puts it on every page of the document. So by default, the parent page is applied to every page of my document. You can tell from the A, and when you roll over it says A parent applied. So throughout my document, anything you put on the parent page will show up on your document pages. So if I double click on page 7, this is showing page 6 and 7. You can see those boxes are there. You can't click on them, so I'm trying to click. You can't like click and drag. You can't pick up these objects. They're locked. Anything that's on the parent page is kind of locked when you go to your document pages. So if you needed to move anything or change it, you've got to double click on your parent page, and now you can move it, edit it, change it, delete it, whatever you'd like to do. All right. You'll also notice that, the reason, I've put a different colored box on each page is to show that that does relate to your document. So because we have facing pages, there are left and right pages. If you had a document with no facing pages, you would just have a single parent page. It wouldn't have this spread. But because we have facing pages, there's a left and a right. So the front pages a right, or quote, a right-hand page, even though it's not in a spread, but it's a right-hand page. And then your last page, the back cover, is a left-hand page. Okay, see how it's got a blue box and the front has a pink box? And that's correct. That's the way it should be. So it's not wrong. Don't think like, oh, why has I got that on there? That's the way it should be. If you had a page that you didn't want to have the parent page applied, you can apply the none here. So right click, apply parent to pages, and then I can select none out of this drop down, and then it's asked me which pages, and I'm going to tell it page 1. Or you could put in a range. You could put 1 to 5 or 1,8. So that'd be the front and the back cover. And now you can see in the little document pages that box has been removed. Now if I double click there, the box has been removed. If I scroll to the end, you can see there's nothing on the back page either. And also that little A isn't in the corner anymore. See how these ones still have the little A? So they still have the master pages applied. That can be helpful, especially for a front cover and a back cover, because things that you put on the master page, parent page, are generally I'm about to show you. We're going to do page numbers. So the way that you would apply page numbers to a document is through the parent page or on the parent page, and you wouldn't really want a page number on the front cover. So that would be a way to have that not be there. You can also create multiple parent pages on like multiple sets. So if I double click on the parent page, so now I'm in the parent area, hit create new page. Let me just open this a little bit bigger. And now there's a B parent. So actually I'm going to copy and paste this. I'll make them different colors. Okay, very patriotic. Didn't mean to be. With that green and yellow. So now on the B parent, I've got a green and a yellow box. So if I wanted to apply that to any of my document, right click, apply parent to pages. So that's one way to do it, and then you can select the pages in here, or you can say all pages. Another way you can apply a master to a page is click and drag. So if I thought like, oh, I want this page on page 2, click and drag, drop it over there, and now you can see it says B. And it does only apply that one page. So you can see here I've got my left-hand page is now a B parent, and my right-hand page, or page 3, is an A parent. It doesn't have to be a set. You can mix and match the spreads. So, yep, I've got the right-hand page of A and the left-hand page of B. Or if you wanted to have both the same, click and drag. Yeah. If I click and drag the left-hand page, like if I wanted a green box on page 3, it won't do it because it's in that spread, okay? So it's not about, these pages aren't like individual, it's the parent spread, really, because they're facing pages. So that's how you can create different parent pages and apply them. You could also click, hold the shift, select multiple pages, and then when you go into apply parent to pages, that range is already in there. You don't have to type it in. So that's another way. You can also apply master pages to master pages, but I'm not going to really explain that too much because it will confuzzle you. So for a base level, this is pretty much all you need to know. And really, we'll just be creating one parent page. We won't be doing multiple. But if there's something in your design in particular, like maybe you want to have an Illustrator spread, a Photoshop, like an Illustrator parent page, a Photoshop parent page, and an InDesign parent page, but then they'd all be, like, you want some consistency in your document and then just the work to be different. So really, master pages are just for common elements that are throughout your document. So if you had like a logo that was in the top corner of every page or something, or at the bottom it said like the name of the chapter, like in novels they'll often have the name of the book and the name of the chapter on the bottom or the top, depending. Which is called, anything at the top of the page is called a header, and anything at the bottom is called a footer. So that's also in Word, you can make headers and footers. So if you want to research that more, that's what that is called. Okay, let's get into these page numbers. So I'm going to delete my pretty boxes here, and let's pop in some page numbers. So generally page numbers will go in the bottom section of, like, in the footer area. You could put them in the outer corner or in the center. Generally you wouldn't put a page number in the inside corner, because when you're flicking through a booklet you want to be able to easily see it. So that would be on the outside corner or on the center of the page. Okay, so I'm going to use my type tool. I'm going to draw a little type box, and I've got my cursor in that box, and then go to type, insert special character, markers, and then current page number. Okay, so there's a few other options here, but we're doing current page number. Click on that, and that will put this A in the text box, and that's because it's an A parent. On B parent, it would show a B. Now you can change this however you'd like. Maybe you'd like really big dramatic page numbers, or smaller. You can make them tiny, up to you. I'll make them bigger so you can see easily. And then please, please change it from the default font. Don't use Minion Pro. And probably use something a little simple. Nothing too scripty or fancy. Let's go with good old Avenir. Cool, so I've got that set. If you wanted to make a paragraph style for your page numbers, you could. I'm not going to, but if you want to jump back to the previous, I forget which one it was in. When did we talk about paragraph styles? Maybe it was the magazine spreads. Yep, the last one. When we did the magazine spread, we talked about paragraph styles. So if you want to recap, you can look at that video. Okay, so I'm going to line this up to my margins. Please, if you have margins and columns, use them. What's the point otherwise? So I'm going to line it up here. I've also made this a bit bigger because when you've got numbers going here, I mean, we've only got 8 pages, but if you had up to, 100 pages or whatever, you want your text box to be big enough to hold that number. I'm going to hit Command C, or you can go into Edit Copy, and then go all the way over here, Command V or Control V on a PC. Now this one, on the right hand side, I want it to be right aligned so that it lines up with that right hand margin. Cool, I'm pretty happy with that. You can always come back and move these around later if you want to. Let's put a parent back onto these 2 pages. And now you'll see when I double click on my document pages, it autofills it with the page number. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we took the parent pages off page 1 and 8, so it doesn't have a number. There we go. So that's a nifty way to get your page numbers on. If you had multiple parent pages, make sure you've got your page numbers on all of them. Or if you want to get really technical, you could have like a parent could be the page with the page numbers, and then say I wanted page numbers on B parent. What I can do is select these, right click, and then apply parent to pages. Choose A, go OK. Oh, why won't I do it? Maybe I've got to click and drag it. Okay, you can click and drag. Why does it give you the option to apply a parent and then not let you do it? Maybe because I've got to type in, I don't know how, maybe I can put B parent. Nope, doesn't like that. Okay, just click and drag it. I was like, maybe you could type the thing in. When you click and drag, see how now B parent's got little A's on it? That means it has A parent applied to it. So if I double click here, now that has a page number. I can't move it. I can't edit it the same way as on your document pages it's locked. I can move the yellow box because that's only on the B parent. So yeah, if you could do that. Now if I make 2 and 3 B parents, it'll have the boxes and the page numbers on it. You can't stack parent pages. Like you can't say, oh, I want page 4 to have A parent and B parent applied together. You can't really mix them. So you can only have one parent page applied to a document page at a time. But like I say up here, the way you can stack them is in the parent pages. Okay, so if that works for what you're wanting to do, that's an option. But if it breaks your brain, don't worry about it. Let's go back to a document. Technically, there is a way to unlock. You know how I was saying you can't click and drag these objects? There is a way to unlock it. I forget where it is in the menu because I use the keyboard shortcut all the time. Let's see if it'll... No, there's a way to just generally lock and unlock objects. But the shortcut, I'm just double checking it was correct. If you needed to, for whatever reason, move or delete an object from a document page that is from a master, from a parent page, if you hold Command and Shift, it's Control on a PC, but on a Mac it's Command and Shift, click on it. See how now that's active, and I can, let's see, I can move it around or delete it or make it a different color. Like say there was an image here and then I wanted it to be white because the black didn't show up. Then you can change the color. So Command Shift and then click, I'll do this one, will unlock that object from being on the master page. How am I gonna try to explain this? So once you've unlocked it, sometimes when you change it on the parent page, it will also change it still, even though it's unlocked, it will still change it on your document page. So if we're on page 4 and I go to a parent and then move this, see how on page 4 it did move it even though this is unlocked. So it will still kind of listen to what's being moved around on the parent page, but if the whole reason that you unlocked this was to have total control over it, it won't do that for you. So if you had, like, you can put lots of different things on your parent, but anything. You could put a line, a color in the background, an image, a line of text, like it doesn't matter. You can put whatever you want on your parent page. But if you're unlocking it in your document for some reason, just be aware that when you move things on your parent page or change things on your parent page, those objects will still be affected. Okay. All right, another thing I want to talk about quickly is everything on a master page sits below the content. Let's go to a page I haven't touched. Sits below the content on your document pages. So let's move this back down here. So let's say on page 7, I want to have a background color. Let's make it red and see how that's covered up my page number, because anything on your document page is on top of your parent page objects or content. If you want the content on your parent page to sit on top or in front of your document page, even if you right click, went to, where's arrange? Anyone? Why can I see it? Is it under transform? No, where's arrange? I'm losing my brain. It's up here. Maybe because there's nothing else on the page actually arranged. Like you can't send forward or bring to back. Like it doesn't interact with the objects that are on your parent page. Okay, it is according to the document page. This is the only thing that's there. So if you want to like the page number to sit on top, what you could do, and kind of a good idea in general, I guess, is just have more control over things later on. Just going to select both of those page numbers. I'm going to go into my layers panel. You can create a new layer. So if I call this one, I just double click to rename it parent A and go okay. And then remember this little blue box means that's the selected items. If I click and drag that to this layer, it's now put it on that layer, or you can cut and paste it in place. And you can tell because they've got a little red outline. Now that's on a layer that's above, and I'll lock it just so nothing can get moved around. I go back to page 7. Now the page number is in front because the stuff that's on, the objects that are on the parent page are now on a layer above everything else. So the layers order overrides the parent page sitting behind things. So you could use that in a way that maybe you want things like above the parent or below the parent, you could have another layer here that if you wanted to cover up the page numbers, you'd put it on layer 3, or cover up the things that are on your parent A, you could put it on layer 3 and then that would cover it up. Cool. Okay, I think that's everything I wanted to tell you about. Yeah, parent pages, page numbers, how that all works. I'll do a separate video for how you can save this file out when you're done. Save it as a PDF. Oh, I lost this little guy. Oh no, what happened? Why'd that disappear? Anyway, that's what happens when you unlock things. Oh, actually, that's a good point. If you start messing around with stuff, like if you delete this and went, oh no, I actually want that back, you can always click and drag. Even though this says parent A and it doesn't have the parent information, that's because I fiddled with it. If you drag them back in, it'll like reset. And now I've got my page numbers back and they're locked. Okay, so if you mess things up, then you can just reset it that way. Just reapply. Okay, enjoy, have fun putting all your lovely work in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.